All right, so we should be good to go.
Yay.
It is
Let me see if I can
spectacular.
find it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And try
You're on
to.
LinkedIn and you're on YouTube, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is get rid of some of these other tabs I got open. All right.
Let me see. Let me find you. Let's see. It's interesting getting on LinkedIn from the app versus the computer. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I? Here we go. I think this is it. Okay. Yes. Let me go to you. Oh, but it's not showing me that you're live. Okay. Well, we'll figure it.
We'll figure it
Oh, there we are. There we are. Okay.
Is it there?
Okay. Yes. Now I see. Let me let me mute myself here. It's not
All right. So for the 90 seconds into this, we can have a formal beginning.
Yes.
So it's going to be difficult to match the magic, I think, from the previous time we got together.
You never know. I mean, you know how our conversations go. You never know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good point. I'm setting an expectation too low. It's probably going to be twice as spectacular. So I see Mark Thompson, John Newinix. What's going on, guys? Thank you for hopping on here.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Let's do it. Let's be official.
Okay.
Just in case, because I don't know. We'll probably have different audiences here, and there'll be overlap. But anyway, why don't you tell us a little bit about the legend of Maria Lloyd?
All right. So, hey, fam. My name is Maria Lloyd. I am a copywriter with almost 20 years of experience. And every time I say this, I feel like I'm so ancient. But I've been doing this since 2004. It started my freshman year at Clark Atlanta University. People started paying me to write artist bios, papers, not trying to be a snitch or anything, but so it started then. And I'm also the author of a book titled Words Are Wealth.
Here, I got a copy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Donnie. Look, I told you on my end you're frozen, so I can't even I don't even see you in real time. So thank you for representing Words Are Wealth. So that's and of course I have a company, a copywriting firm, Opens Clicks Cash with Management 24. We specialize in email marketing. But of course, as copywriters, we do provide copy for web pages, landing pages, ad copy, wherever you got some words. So, yes. Oh, Mark said, I never thought about hiring someone to write my. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've written even in the last, I don't write them as much as I used to, but like last year, actually, somebody hired me to write their bio. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I think I'm going to hire Donnie to write mine because the way he wrote up my little, the way he hyped me up and last week, I was like, okay, this guy, I think he knows what he's doing.
Well, look, sometimes it's just you got a lot to work with, and sometimes you don't have as much to work with. But when Mark's bio would be phenomenal. We're not talking about Mark today, but just quiet as kept. He works for a company called Google.
Okay, yeah. How would it be, Mark?
and I mean, we'll short side note. He's a phenomenal speaker. Like, y'all need to watch out for Mark. It's gonna be crazy this year.
Okay.
Just this is the beginning of something huge. So y'all keep your eyes out for that. Now,
yes.
Maria, you've worked with, we won't name the names, but you've worked with some big influential companies. And we'll just get right into it, right? Because we want to talk about how to make money with email.
Now you're ready to put me on blast, I'm sure. But
no,
okay.
you know what? I do have one question I think is going to be fun for you to answer. But let me ask you this: the big companies, everybody's social media is splashy, right? When you think about a lot of these influential people, you think about what they're doing on IG or what they're doing on TikTok or whatever. How does, because from your insider's view, email fit into the picture?
Well, I mean, first of all, the companies that are big tend to know how to leverage their social media reach and pull to grow that email list. I have worked with some pretty large social media accounts that had no email list. And let me tell you, they suffered because literally in both cases that I'm thinking about right now, where these are pages that had over 500,000, over 100,000, in one instance, over 1 million. And overnight, the page was snatched. And in one case in particular, I can remember this because I interviewed the owner of this particular brand. And he literally said he fell into a depression because he had just brokered some major sponsorship deals the day before. I mean, literally the day before. Could you imagine? Like, you just signed the dot, and like finally you've built this incredible community, this great audience, and this amazing following on social media. And you finally get to monetize that, right? For the first time, you get a major sponsor. And then the next day, I mean, could you say, oh my God, I don't know anybody's timing that could be worse. But the next day, it was completely snatched from under his feet. And of course, the deals were dropped, right? I mean, why am I going to pay you for something that you don't have?
Yeah.
So thankfully, in this particular case, the individual has a legal background. So he was actually able to fight Facebook himself. But this took several weeks. I mean, probably, I can't remember exactly. It's been a few years, but if I'm not mistaken, probably a few months, actually.
Wow.
And yeah, he finally got the page back, but my goodness, I mean, in that time frame, he lost the sponsorships, he lost the engagement.
Wow.
So those the companies and the brands that I've worked with that know what they're doing, I will say that the social media works in tandem, in which they've created a system of pulling their followers from social media into email, which is the best thing to do, because you actually, I mean, you own and control that email database. You don't own and control that social media database. And if Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg feels some type of way, they can snatch your page. So,
and they do.
They do. Yeah, they do.
I was just complaining about this exact thing, right? I don't have 500,000 or 1 million people, and I don't have brand sponsorship deals, although I should probably start working on some, but I don't have a huge social media audience. But anyway, I can't get no love from Facebook. None. Like when we live streamed last week, I think I told you this, Maria. We live streamed. I'm casting to Facebook. You can find it. There's a link where it happens, but it didn't appear on my actual page. We went live on Friday and it showed up on my page on Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't see it myself at all. There's no engagement whatsoever there because it just wasn't visible. So, I mean, that's the downside of depending on social media, who shadow bans you when they feel like it.
Yeah.
Who cut you off when they feel like it. People go to Facebook jail all the time.
Yeah. Very true. It's easy to get in trouble, which sounds so childish, but I mean, it is. But, I have a deep love-hate relationship with social media. Thank you, Nina. I have a very deep love-hate relationship with social media. So in one regard, I probably it probably would have taken some time for me to have met you. Although we did meet through a mutual friend, actually, as I think about it. So maybe that's not the case. But I have made some incredible connections through social media, right? And so therefore, I feel like it would be naive of me to kind of like wage some sort of war against social. Although, to be honest, if I didn't have a business, I honestly probably would never be on social. It's just too much. It's a bit overwhelming. But on the other side of that, because there are so many people on the internet, right? And so many people on social media, as business owners, I think it's critical for us to show up. I mean, I've gotten so many clients. I've made so much money simply by showing up on social media, literally just showing up, right? And so that's why I said I have a deep love-hate relationship with it, because in one regard, I know that these tools are created to make us addicted to them. You know, the fact that they choose to make the notifications red so it sticks out. And of course, you know, it's innate for us to, our brains are just hardwired to notice that little red notification. So they do all these little tricks and hacks that have a neurological impact on us. So they're purposely trying to make us hooked to these platforms. And I'm aware of that. But at the same time, I'm also appreciative that I've been able to forge so many meaningful connections literally around the world because of social media. So yeah, the love-hate is deep for me.
I feel the same way. It's interesting. I never think about it.
Hey, Conrad.
Conrad. I never think about it because now I've come to have this disdain for social media, but it's very true. I remember some years ago, I got a bunch of recommendations over a period of time, referrals from people who they weren't clients. They weren't even necessarily friends. But people say, you're the only copywriter who I know. And they don't even know me, but they've seen me on social media consistently showing up for years. I was consistent for years. I'm not anymore, but I was consistent for several years.
You are so modest, man.
No, I mean, well, I appreciate you saying that, but I used to be very intentional about showing up and showing expertise, and now I mostly just post things that I think are funny, like, you know, when Bing said that I wrote an email campaign for my nephew's bar mitzvah.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah.
So that, you know, it's a promotable, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I agree. Like, I kind of down talk social, but you're right. There's definitely been a positive impact over time for me. It's just more frustrating lately.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, Nina, you are absolutely right. This man, I'm still tripping off of you last week saying what did you say? I think you said, you told me that I am already a leader in this space. And then you said, I'm trying to become a leader. I'm like, Donnie, now, Donnie, you gotta cut that out, Donnie. You are already there, sir.
I'm doing the best I can do.
Look, what's up, Teddy? Now
Teddy.
we got a high school nickname that we can. Yeah, what's up, Teddy?
We won't talk about that. You don't talk about that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get serious.
No,
okay,
yeah, I'll tell you, that's that dude, and he's also everybody on this call is already hot. Nina, we're talking to some good people here, so I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. This conversation is already live. We're just getting warmed up.
Thanks.
So, what else do we want to talk about? We were just getting talked about because I wanted to see what you had to say about social media, because that's the thing that everybody's talking about. If you go and look at Amazon, somebody told me nobody's written any email books on Amazon. Well, that's not true. There's a couple dozen, but there's like millions of social media books, because that's what's hot. That's what's visible. Yeah. And it's, you know, it feels easier to get into. But I want you to also talk about this, and I'm chime in on it too. But people think social media is super easy, and sure, it's easy. But why do they think that email's hard?
Man, that's a great question. You know, I think it's the same psychological wound, if you will, that has been promoted when you think about mathematics, right? And I'm guilty of this too, where as soon as I see numbers and like I have to calculate something, because like I recently did an email audit for a client.
Okay.
And I like had to calculate, you know, the percentage of their basically the benchmarks in their industry versus what they're doing. And I mean, I literally freaked. I'm like, I am not a mathematician. I am a freaking copywriter, email marketing expert. Like, I do not want to do this, right? And I think that's the same thing with writing. Unfortunately, what has happened, and that's why I called it a psychological wound. If you think about when you used to get in trouble, and well, of course, you didn't get in trouble, Donnie. I'm sure you were an all A, star student on the president's list or the principal's list and all that. But for the rebel kids who would get in trouble in school, in elementary school, the teacher oftentimes would make them write. If you think about it, right? You have to write 100 sentences of "I will not talk during class," which was I'm guilty as charged. I was the motor mouth. You write every word in the dictionary, right?
What?
And so that's a psychological wound.
So hold on a second. You had to write every word in the dictionary?
Now, I didn't have to do that, but I've heard of that kind of punishment. Yeah, I've definitely. Of course, nobody did it for real.
Words or wealth came from from talking in class too much.
Words or wounds.
They're both. I
know. But yeah, I think that's what it is, Donnie. I think it's this notion that it's like punishment. Like, I gotta write something, and it's just that psychological wound, unfortunately. And I think I've seen so many brilliant social media posts that have gotten tons of traction. And I would ask, the person, the author, and I would, say, hey, why don't you consider sending that out as an email? Why don't you consider putting it on your own, on your own blog post? And again, for some reason, that seems daunting. Now, all of a sudden, it seems, untouchable. So it's really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about it that way. That's so profound. As the mental association and the emotional association is punishment.
Yeah.
I hated poetry.
Really?
Yeah. So that's what I hated. I remember I have wake ups, in cold sweat thinking about my, English classes that required some of that, which is weird. English was like my weakest subject probably, but they denied me from being in AP English class. I proved it to them though.
Wow, I love it.
But I never thought about it as punishment, but it probably is, because people literally lock up. They freeze up when you say write, and for some reason, social media feels like I'm just spilling, just whatever's in my mind, whatever picture of lunch that I have. I'm gonna share that. But when it comes to writing an email, it feels like a book report.
Yep.
or whatever, or standing at the chalkboard, write 100 times. That's so interesting. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah. I think it's just a psychological wound. And again, I mean, I read somewhere, I think it was in Psychology Today, that women tend to be like dissuaded to do math problems because like society has convinced us that math is very difficult and it's a male dominated thing. So it seems like, oh, okay. I was like, what happened here on my computer? No, it's okay. I know this internet connection for me is really weak. But so yeah, I think it was Psychology Today, said that women tend to be fearful of math and stray away from that subject because society has told them it's too hard and it's a very male dominated thing. Like men understand math better than anybody else. So I feel, again, although this is not like gender related, or sex related rather, but I do think that, again, it's just a psychological wound when it comes to writing and math.
So interesting. Yeah, well, math is definitely traumatizing for many. I love math, so I mean, I took AP calculus for the fun of it. But, I ended up dropping out halfway through the year because so I could focus on my physics class. So weird, but
oh my gosh, physics, man. Okay, see, I'm learning so much about you. I did not even know that you took physics. Oh boy, the conversations, yeah.
So weird, but you're right. Math is traumatizing. I saw one thing today, exactly what you said. Nikki Jones. Matter of fact, Nikki was on last week's live stream.
Yeah,
she said, if I write for you, you better check the numbers because I'm not doing math.
Yep.
You'll have negative, all these, 145% of the numbers don't add up. And
exactly.
I said the same thing. It's like, we're copywriters, not copy mathematicians.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. So we gotta. Okay. So here's another good, interesting question. I have no idea where this is going. We're going to see.
Hey, it's fine.
In that, many of us have the psychological wound and association with punishment. How do we get past that? I have thoughts about this too, but I'm curious to know what you think.
Honestly, I think just by doing it. They oftentimes say whenever you're fearful of something, the best way to overcome the fear is to literally do it. And I have a philosophy that I live by. Whenever I'm preparing to make a decision and that decision scares me, I already have programmed myself to believe that, okay, you know what? That means that there is something amazing on the other side of this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so even if it doesn't work out the way I hoped it would, in my mind, it's like I never lose because I'm going to take the lesson from it, right? And so it's Conrad, he dropped AP calculus. Right. Conrad, I'm with you. I'm like, man, I'm learning so much in this conversation. We just got started basically. But so I would say honestly, Donnie, to answer the question in terms of how do you tackle this fear of writing, it's literally to write, to just do it, and over time you'll build your confidence. You'll start noticing some results. You'll see people responding to those emails, which is always a treat when you send an email and you get people responding to you as if you're having and that's why I said last week, people have to understand that email is such a very unique medium because it's a one-to-one dialogue. Now, because we are putting ourselves essentially in our contacts inbox. But when we're posting on social media, when we're posting a blog post, for example, those are one-to-many conversations. People aren't reading those posts, at least not sane people are reading those posts and assuming that you wrote that specifically for them. Whereas with email, you send an email and a lot of people do assume that you literally thought about them that day. Like you sat down and you wrote that email and you thought about them, and they will respond. And it's a beautiful thing when that happens. And so if you're afraid of writing, the best way to combat that fear is to write, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it only sounds crazy in that it's so simple that it doesn't seem like it could possibly be the way, but it is, right? I think that what you said is profound. If you feel fear, there's something great for you. And that's it's literally true. There's very few things that we will accomplish that we'll be proud of that don't make us nervous in the beginning, right? And it's probably the same thing's probably true on social media too. When you first start a new social media account, you got no friends and no followers, and like, what do I say? How do I fit in? Where am I going to find my people? Will I ever find my people? I remember talking to the void, right? And eventually it works, but you just had to get yourself out there. Same thing is true for anything. And I think that's a great point. For me, I thought about this because people ask the question, I don't know how to write. And I just said that in a mocking voice. I don't mean to mock because it's a real thing. And for the reason that you mentioned, I didn't think about, they've been wounded. They've been punished with the task of writing.
Exactly.
But one of the things that for me, well, I can't talk about anybody, but this is the advice I give people. For copywriters specifically, is a lot of times we're worried about what the other person who's reading is going to think about it. Right. So even if I'm confident that I know how to say what I want to say, I don't know what the other person is expecting. I don't know what they're hoping for. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know if they'll agree with me, especially if you're writing to multiple people.
Yeah.
And it scares you to think that someone's on the other side thinking Donnie's a goofball, or Donnie's politics are weird, or why does Donnie have a shape why is Donnie's head shaped that way? I don't know why he wants to show up in my inbox looking like that. Sometimes I put pictures of myself in the emails. Right? I don't know. I started doing that. It's fun for me. Anyway, I break all the rules. Don't do what Donnie does until you know what you're doing.
Oh,
But look, once you begin to write, I think that's 100% true. You have to find your voice and the confidence that comes with, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and it's going to resonate with the people who it needs to resonate with, and everybody else doesn't really matter that much. Not that they don't matter as humans, but they don't matter in the context of this conversation. They can find their way out of it. So you only find that out by doing. If you sit here and don't write, you'll never get over that hurdle.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. And yeah. I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, you just say what you say it with your whole chest, put it out there. I mean, I've sent controversial emails. If you all will, recall, at the height of COVID, there was this surge of interest in a whole Ponzi scheme. And I feel comfortable talking about it very candidly, because, to be quite honest and frank, for the first time in my life, I fell for the Ponzi scheme, or almost did. I literally almost fell for it. And that Ponzi scheme that I'm referring to is the susu flower, which nobody talks about now, right? I mean, it's amazing. Like, some of the most respected, incredible people within my network, who I personally know, who I personally admire, were getting involved in this thing, which is what led me to believe, okay, maybe I need to take a second look, because when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, this is a pyramid scheme. I'm not.
Yes.
But when I started getting outreach from people that I really respect, I mean, these are like otherwise highly intelligent people. I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm the goofy here that didn't realize that this is a real thing. And so I ended up sending an email. And I sent the email after I did some additional research. I talked to one of my sorority sisters, who is an attorney, and she told me straight up, like, absolutely not. This thing is not legal. You cannot do that, right? So I literally was supposed to, like, put my money into the thing like less than 24 hours. And when I talked to her, I backed out, which I'm sure disappointed the person I had promised I was going to enter in, because, again, it's a pyramid scheme. So they relied on me to come in, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up doing some additional research, and sure enough, that's when I discovered that this was just a rehash scam. There was a wealthy stay-at-home mom who had pulled this off in Connecticut somewhere. So even if, we talk about races and things like that, this was a white, woman that came from a well-to-do community in Connecticut, and she had managed to, scam everybody with a very similar model. So I wrote a blog post about it first on my blog. And then what I did is I wrote an email about it and then encouraged everyone to read the blog post.
Yeah.
Well, two things happened. Obviously, me going against something that was very popular at the time was a huge risk, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, this is sheer coincidence, just my luck. The day that I had planned to send this email, my CRM system had choked up and didn't send the email.
Wow.
So when I reached out to support, they were like, oh yeah, we're sorry, we had a hiccup. We did not, get to send that email. And I said, you know what, don't worry about it. I'm going to send the email tomorrow. I won't send it today. And they said, okay, not a problem. When you're ready, just go in there and send it manually. But then after I got off the chat with them, I decided, you know what, no, I'm gonna send it today, because I intended to send it today. I'm gonna send it today.
Yeah.
Well, as fate would have it, I sent the email, right? And then the system turned around and sent it again.
Oh.
So here is this super controversial email that landed in people's inboxes twice. So now it seems like I'm literally scamming, and like, not scamming, but I'm literally like fueling the flame, right? I got some of the nastiest responses. In fact, let me tell you, it got so bad that, and mind you, I mean, I outlined the proof. I, referenced government websites. I mean, this wasn't just, Maria Lloyd's opinion. I mean, this was, this was well researched. Like, once I realized it was not a good thing, I was like, yeah, let me help my people. So Nevertheless, it got so bad that people started flagging the email as spam.
What?
Yes. So my CRM company reached out to me because they have a rule. If you get over 1% of reported spam, reports, whatever,
Sure.
You're getting booted out of the account. They can't have you because you're going to damage their reputation.
Yeah.
So I explained to them, I said, guys, this is your fault. Like, you sent that email twice. This is a very controversial email, and you put it in people's inboxes twice. So they gave me a pass. But I'm saying all this to say, to your point, you do take some risk. I learned I don't regret, to be honest, I don't regret anything. I mean, in terms of what I did, like,
yeah.
I knew my intentions were pure. I knew I was trying to save people from potentially facing jail time or, losing money, their hard-earned money, especially in the height of COVID. So, do I have any regrets as it relates to writing that email, knowing how controversial it was? No. I do hate that they received it twice because I would probably have felt like, okay, this person is now bullying me. Like, I get it. I read your email the first time. I get your point. But when it was sent twice, I think that just added another level of pettiness that people thought I was trying to exude and I was not. And so, it's just the risk you take. And to be honest, my email address, that domain kind of got blacklisted on some, after that. So I've still not fully recovered from that incident. So it's interesting. But again, in my situation, I think it was pretty unique because it wasn't like the content alone was the reason why people flagged it as spam. It was the fact that the content was sent twice, and that came off very antagonistic and combative because I sent the same freaking email twice, and it was already controversial.
Yeah. That's a crazy story.
I know.
That's a crazy story. It's weird how things work out. And I want y'all to think about this as you're listening. I got a story too. It's not quite as crazy as that, but it takes courage to do anything worthwhile.
It is.
And then there's a potential cost.
Yep.
Guess what? You doing the right thing is the only thing that really matters.
Yep.
You believed in the message. You say, you know what? Some people ain't gonna like this. See, I didn't take AP English. I said double negative. Some folk ain't gonna like this, but the reality is, you doing the right thing is worth whatever the cost. So keep that in mind. My COVID story, right? I sent an email and it wasn't quite angled that way, but it was like the coronavirus marketing kit.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And this is before it got super bad. So I mean, you had like 4 people had died in America or something like that. And this is no joking matter, but my angle was, this whole thing is probably not as bad as they're saying. I got a story from Washington Post that said, I got COVID and it ain't so bad.
Oh boy.
And I said, regardless, the government and the powers that be got y'all freaking out. And what can we learn from that to get other people to respond emotionally to our offers? I got a lot of negative feedback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, honey.
And you know what? It turns out that I was wrong. But in that, it wasn't, well, I don't know if it was as bad as that. I'm not going to go there because they're probably going to blow this. My YouTube channel ain't going to exist anymore.
Right. I know, right? For real.
We went to some drastic measures, but my point was mostly to use that as a way of getting people's attention, because I wasn't trying to say don't get a vaccine. This is before the vaccines were out. I wasn't trying to say don't wear a mask. I wasn't trying to say spit in people's face. I was just saying, if you want to get people's attention, you're getting right now play by play how to do it.
Yep.
If you have the courage to to do some of these things. So anyway, lots of spam reports. People have been opening my emails for a long time, but now they're mad because they don't like what I'm saying. My wife was a nurse. And I said, of course your wife is telling you what the system is telling them. So I was getting back with them. Anyway, you take a risk.
Say it with your chest.
My whole chest. And you pay the penalty for that. But it's fine, because you know what? Maybe a handful of people today don't like me. I think most of those relationships are back. We all know where we at now. That I wasn't malicious what I was saying.
Exactly.
And I'm not above the controversy. In fact, I love controversy. So it's all in love. If you know me, I'm doing it because I love you. I'm doing it because I love you. That's
I'm learning so much in this particular conversation. Just when you think you know somebody, man.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, this is great.
This is fun. But I think that's one of the things, and this is really cool. You were talking about how the Susu thing, that was huge.
Oh
And
boy.
almost everybody's going for it.
Yeah.
And watch this. The logic behind it, people didn't really want to hear the logic.
Yep.
Which is weird because you think we're talking about money. I want to be logical.
Yep.
But it was largely emotional, and it was based on even the thing that kind of pulled you further along than you normally would go is the fact that we have authority figures, intelligent people who we trust, speaking on a topic. And I want you, I don't really have a direction for this question, but I want you to talk a little bit about trust and authority when it comes to email. And it just comes to thought leadership. What are your thoughts? Some of your thoughts. You haven't had time to prepare for this.
I know. Yeah, this is facts.
I didn't
have no idea what the questions were going to be today, by the way, y'all.
I know. We could have taken some time to think about them, but we're like, you're working, I'm working.
I know, yeah.
We'll put it together when we get together.
Trust and authority. Man, that's a good question. So, trust and authority is extremely important with email marketing because, again, it's that one-to-one dialogue, right? And so no one is going to want to engage with your emails, with anything that you have going on, really, if they don't feel like they can trust you or if they don't feel like you know what you're talking about, right? I mean, if you're just talking for the sake of talking, unless you're attractive and also happen to be charming on top of that, you might get a few stragglers. But for the most part, if you're not delivering value, then nobody cares about what you have to say because everybody has an opinion. We all have something to say. But the difference between my opinion and somebody else's opinion is literally just who has folks trust and who has kind of proven themselves within their spaces to be an authority in that space. And so that's pretty much what it boils down to. So I mean, trust and authority, to be honest, I feel are extremely important.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too because trust, and I'm going to paraphrase, I can't remember exactly how this was worded. I saw it somewhere. I saw a meme somewhere that said trust takes 1,000 years to build and 1 moment to break. Which is very true, right? And so I'm bringing this up to say, obviously trust is something that you build over a period of time. And that's what makes email marketing so special because you're able to build a relationship, again, that dialogue that's happening in the inbox, right? Some of you all may not look at email as a dialogue. It's a dialogue. If you're not looking at it as a dialogue, you're doing it wrong, to be honest. You should literally look at your email as you're sitting in a room with those contacts, with them one-on-one, by the way, not one to many. You're sitting in the room with each contact and you all are having a conversation. And so, the trust part of this, the thing about email that makes it so cool is that you're able to, number one, automate some of those dialogues. And I know I talked about this last week, how, with automation, sometimes the authenticity gets lost, but how can you build that authenticity? And it's with some custom fields, right? Contact fields, to make the conversation a little bit more personable. But with that being said, you're able to, through email marketing, build trust over a period of time. If your emails are delivering value, if your emails are entertaining, if your emails make people feel better about themselves, if it encourages people to step out and do something that they would normally not do, that is a great way to build trust. It's a great way also to build authority. Again, going back to the whole, if you're delivering value, what did Conrad say? Look, I'm sorry, I didn't get distracted. But if you're building, it's fine. I just saw billions. I was like, oh, let me zoom in on the billions.
I know that gets your attention.
I know, right? That B boy, I tell you. But no, seriously, on a serious note, with authority, if you're able to help someone with a challenge through email, you're able to answer maybe a pressing question that your list has. That's a great way for you to build authority. And so I love this question. This is a really good question because I don't think I've even talked about, like, I've talked about it, right? But not like overtly saying, oh, trust and authority. I've just said it in terms of the importance of consistency, of, delivering quality versus quantity, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, a trust and authority are extremely important with email marketing. And it's a great way for you to build with email marketing. You can build that trust and authority over time with a very consistent cadence. So, wow, thank you for that question.
Yeah, I think you hit on, first of all, you there's gems like littered in there that people probably didn't even catch. Right. The one-on-one thing, if we're thinking about emails and dialogue, I say this, and I don't know how true it is. I'm gonna say it though. If no one ever replies to your emails, you might not be doing it quite as well as you need to be doing.
Yeah, that's true. Great point.
Right. And it's not gonna be most of them, but every once in a while, somebody should shoot back, and they're gonna either say, man, I really needed this message. I remember I sent one. It was actually inspired by Mark Thompson. Now that I think about it, if he's still on this.
Yeah, yay, Mark! Shout out to Mark.
We had hung out downtown, and he said, "This is the response," because he's a bodybuilder. In addition to working for Google, he's brains, brawn, he's all of that.
Holla at me, Mark, about that bio.
That's it, right? But we were talking about something. He said, I'm a large human being, and I have certain responsibilities that come with that. And I said, I'm gonna write an email about this. And I said, what's the responsibility? You're a large human being too. What's your responsibility? I don't think I even told Mark this. Mark is learning something new today too, if he's listening. I got 4 or 5 people hit me back and said, this message was right on time for me, because I was about to make a choice that a small human would make. It's not time for that. We're gonna do large human things. 3 or 4, and I was like, this here, this is what email is about. It's about encouraging, empowering, and taking people to another level. And that includes selling them stuff, which is something we're going to talk about. But like, it's building that sense of dialogue with a person who you can trust. And part of the trust comes from the authority. I believe that you know what you're talking about. I believe that you have my best intention at heart. And I believe that what you're telling me, advising me on, will help me get the thing that I want. And they're on your list because they believe that you can help them get something they want. They wouldn't be on it any other reason. I think I missed a word. They wouldn't be on it for any other reason. They said, this person can help me achieve a goal that I have. Making more money, getting, in better shape, fixing my raggedy marriage, or, getting my garden right, whatever it is, getting my muscles together. I want to be a large human being. And
that's dope. Wow, I love that.
They want that. And so that's why you have to think about it as a dialogue. And when you think about it as a dialogue, you said this, I'm just spinning off what you said. One-on-one, I'm talking with a friend who I want to help. Maybe in this area, we all have friends. They know something we don't know, and we listen when they talk. And we have friends who we know something they don't know, and they listen when we talk, or they should. And then when you got something you got to tell them, you say, hey, listen, you need to know about this. This is important for you.
Yeah.
Call them up on the phone or do whatever. And it's the same thing with email. And sometimes that means you got to go buy something.
Yeah.
Hey, go buy tickets to this movie. If I'm looking out for you, you're going to want to see this movie. Or, hey, don't buy tickets to that movie. You're going to be mad when you go. Right.
Exactly.
Because you know them and you want them to do well. And so that's where trust, I think, in part comes from that feeling of we have common interest. But part of that is that you want for me to succeed in the area that we're here to talk about. And then you consistently show up. Consistency is in terms of cadence, meaning if you're going to show up once a week, cool, more or less.
Yeah.
Or once a day, you show up time-wise, but also consistency within your messaging. You're usually talking about the same things. You have the same philosophy. So it's not like I'm going to talk about how it's important to be vegan today and how it's important to be paleo tomorrow. Whatever the fad is, because that's part of how we erode trust, is by hopping on fads and doing whatever seems hot. No, what's true, what's good, what's real, according to you. And if you're switching up, who's gonna trust you?
Exactly.
Right? So I think that's super important. And when it comes, as you said, everyone has an opinion. I don't care about most people's opinion, but I sign up to hear yours. I'm on your email list for that reason.
Exactly.
So I want you to bring it to me. Unfiltered. And that takes that risk that we were talking about. Some people, they won't like it. Some people, it's too far for me. I always got people unsubscribed from my emails. And I said, what did I say this time? That you were surprised by.
I know.
Knowing me, why are you surprised? But it happens. So it's fine. It doesn't bother me because the conversation is over between me and that individual. And it's fine.
And you know, also the thing is that we have to keep in mind when it comes to email unsubscribes is that, you know, that person is exiting the conversation at that time, right? Yes. It doesn't mean that they'll never come back. There have been instances where people have unsubscribed from my list, and then lo and behold, somewhere, you know, somehow they have come back into the fold. So I always try to encourage people not to get discouraged by any unsubscribes, you know. And I mean, even on my end recently, I noticed that, you know, a couple of people that I know personally who are either business owners or are interested in getting into business, I noticed that they unsubscribed from my list. And so instead of me taking it personal, I thought to myself, okay, maybe I must have missed something here, because I know this person needs, or these people, they need the information that, you know, I'm imparting. So maybe I'm not, maybe, you know, the body of the emails need to be tweaked a bit more to get straight to the point, versus kind of telling a story or what, even though I do believe in stories, by the way. I'm a big storyteller in my emails, but so I thought about that recently, because I noticed, again, these are people that I know personally who unsubscribed from my list. And so like I said, I don't take those things personal. What I do is I kind of self-reflect and try to see where did I drop the ball. But even with that, you have to be a little careful, because people unsubscribe for a multitude of reasons. I mean, for all I know, these same people could have unsubscribe from that particular email address or using that particular email address and then resubscribe with another email address. So honestly, you just gotta, as long as you're not getting like crazy unsubscribe rates, right? Like if it's like above your industry benchmark, you know, you probably need to be panicking a bit and figuring out how you're going to fix that. But if it's, you know, I mean, usually my unsubscribe rates are so nominal. We're talking every bit of 2 or 3 people at a time. So, you know, it's not.
Yeah, I get the same numbers. But I think it's a good point and worth making. Number one, people, I know there's some people out there got 2 emails on my list. Like, I don't need 2 of these.
Yeah.
So you drop off one. And then sometimes people are just like, I'm unsubscribing from everything. You watch for that, especially around like the new year. And people are like, what I'm doing this year is decluttering, I'm focusing, and I'm you know, that includes getting rid of some of these things that take up all my time. I spend too much time reading Maria's emails. They're great, but I can't afford to spend all this time or whatever. And so don't try not to take it personal. Self-reflection, of course, is good. Because maybe you are missing something. But
exactly.
But again, to give yourself some grace, because a lot of times, you know, it's I mean, there's a lot of factors. It's not that you it's all on you. If someone unsubscribes, you did something wrong.
Right. True.
It could be any number of things. And sometimes it's an accident. Right.
That's true. Very true. Yeah. I agree with you.
Or temporary, like you said, if I'm leaving, but they come back. I've resubscribed to people's email list like 3 times. I'm tired of that person for now, but then it's like, I want to hear what this person has to say about what's happening now.
Yep.
And like you said, just like a regular conversation, you get off the phone with somebody and you call them back at some point. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, again, unless if you're getting a substantial amount of unsubscribes, then you definitely need to do some self-reflection and kind of figure out, you know, some self-assessing rather, and figure out like, okay, what did I do with this one that's causing everybody to leave my list? But if you just get a handful of people, like I said, for me, when I noticed it was, you know, people that I know personally that I know need, I know they need the information, right? That's why I was kind of like, okay, how did this happen? But like you said, I agree. I mean, you really cannot beat yourself up, because people, you never know what influences people. That's what makes human beings such a dynamic species. We're so diverse. We're very unpredictable. Well, we're predictable and unpredictable. And so you really cannot get your emotions tied up in these numbers. You really can't. You just got to do the work to improve and do your best. And that's pretty much it.
That's true. It's, I think, a good point. People are unpredictable, like on an individual basis.
Yeah.
But when you look at the masses, then you can predict with relatively high degree of accuracy what is going to happen. And then with your own list, that's the other thing, a great thing about having a list. Social media is probably somewhat the same, but the algorithm does different things. And so it's a little bit harder to read it. But with your own email data, you can predict what my list does with particular things. When I send this kind of email, this is the response I get. When I send on this day, this is the kind of response I get. And just trying different things, and you learn different things. I want to do three things. First, I want to say, Mike Reynolds, I hope you're still here. Good to see you, brother. And I want to point out, Mark says former bodybuilder. You should see him. He's still yoked. Right? He's still yoked.
He's still a big person.
The third thing is I want to tell this story, and I might have been wrong for this. I love this story though. I had a client. This is 2017, 2018 maybe. And we were trying to sell a program. They've been selling this program for a long time before I came. Free plus, no, it wasn't free plus shipping. It was a free bonus, but they led with, it's a book. When you buy this product, you get a book.
Oh, okay.
Email saying you can get this book for free. And then you find out the book is free when you buy this thing. Anyway, it's been selling for a long time. And they're like, beat the control. All right, cool. I could do that. And I did one of those. Should I give your book to someone else? This is before it was super popular. I was one of them. I feel like I was one of the first people to do it. Should I give this to someone else? And we got a handful. It's a big list. We got a handful of people saying, F you, keep your book. I'll never do business with you. And I can't believe I ever, associated with you. And so two things happened. The senior vice president, executive vice president, whatever he is, he said, we can't use this anymore because we're making too many people mad. And the salespeople said, we've never sold so many of this product before. This is the record sales for this email, but we can't use it anymore. So, pushing buttons, I always say that's how you know you're doing it right. If you're getting a few people upset. But there's a line that's too far. And probably when people respond and say F you, it might be too far. I didn't say you're an idiot if you don't get this. I just said, should I give it to somebody else? Anyway.
But first of all, I just want to shout out to you, because that is actually really dope. In my head, when you said, I was like, oh yeah, I think I need to use something like that. But no, that was dope. And you actually just you reminded me of some of the challenges of like that whole top-down management in some of these corporations, where folks who don't understand what we do, they don't really understand how the whole point of copywriting is to evoke some sort of emotion that leads to an act, right? And so the fact that this, vice president or whomever sitting at the top of the hierarchy says, oh, no, we can't do that. We're getting, here's one thing I always share with clients. I remember this happened in this was last year. Yeah, it happened last year, right? I was out of the country. Again, this is a shameless plug, but one of the beauties of being a copywriter is that we are location agnostic.
Yes.
So I spent my entire summer last year in France, and I'll be doing that again this upcoming summer. And so I had written an email for a client. It was edgy. It was very edgy. And so the client's admin was freaking out because maybe like 10 people had sent some angry emails, right? Kind of going in on the client, like, man, this email is ignorant, da 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 da. And so I asked, I said, so basically the admin was like, hey, moving forward, like we can't send emails like that, right? And I said, okay, I respect that. I said, but what are the sales looking like? She was like, oh yeah, well, we did good with the sales. And I said, okay. And then how many complaints did you get? It was like 10, maybe 20 people that complained. I said, That's 10, 20 people out of 12,000 contacts. And so when I said that, the tone shifted, right? It went from kind of like this panic, oh my gosh, we can't do this, we need to stop it, to okay, yeah, it's only 10 or so people out of 12,000. I said, right. So my point is, yeah, you're gonna ruffle some feathers out of an audience size of 12,000, right? Like it'll be different. We had like 100 or even 1,000 people complaining. I mean, yeah, maybe we went a little too far, but we're talking peons, right? I'm not calling those people peons. I'm saying the data. We're talking like nothing out of a list of 12,000 people. So I'm not going to freak out over that. And I think, that's important for us to kind of hit on too, Donnie, is like, we need to help people understand when you do start getting some of that, negative feedback, if you will. It's important for you to know, like, look at it, look at the macro, right? Like, don't get so drilled in on the micro, like, oh my gosh, I had 20 people tell me F you in my email. Like, look at the macro. It's like 20 people out of like, 10,000. I mean, it's not that serious. It's not the whole world. So yeah, man, you really reminded me of like those really crazy situations with that top-down management style where you have people who don't really know what they're talking about. They're literally just reacting off of sheer, like, they're just being reactionary. They're not looking at the macro. And so that's very annoying. And then you also just reminded me of that situation, last year where I had a client whose team member was kind of panicking and like, oh my gosh, we can't do this anymore. And so, yeah, thankfully, once I kind of broke down the numbers and we looked at the data, we all agreed, like, okay, it wasn't that bad. Like, it's okay. So it's interesting.
I'm telling you, it's an interesting experience. Like, what are we here for? Are we here to make sure nobody's feathers get ruffled? I say ruffle some feathers because there's some money under there, right? You're here to get some money. What did you hire me to do? If you hired me to make you some money, or if you're sending out your own emails, what am I sending out emails to do? To make some money. Then sometimes actually, I think you should make money as often as you can, but it's worth pushing the envelope a little bit to try and get them sales. Sometimes you have to, if someone's sitting on the fence, they're probably not going to fall off the fence with you not pushing. You're going to push.
Exactly.
So sometimes you got to do that. And sometimes it feels like pressure. Sometimes it feels like, going in on the emotional thing while, somebody will say you're being manipulative. Yeah. Because I'm trying to help you. Again, this is out of respect for you. If I know you're going to have a heart attack and I got to drag you to the hospital, why are you dragging me? Why do I keep doing these weird voices? I don't know. I'm dragging you. You might, scrape your knee on the way, bump your head in the car. We're going to get you to the hospital where they can save your life.
Right.
And what you sell may not be CPR level, but it might be. But whatever it is, if you believe that it's worth selling, it's worth selling. It's worth pushing for. And not that you're hard pitching all the time, but you always having in mind, what does it take to get this person to help themselves? That's half of the battle, is to help people get out of their own way. Because they know that they want it. That's why they're reading your email in the first place. Yeah, they got the blocks. They got the psychological wounds that say, I don't deserve this. This won't work for me. It's not the right time. Whatever. That's why you got to push. That's why you got to be consistent. That's why you got to be authoritative. And for some people, it's uncomfortable. They don't want to make the choice that they know is right for them. They don't want somebody to talk them out of doing the wrong thing. And
right.
It's like, you keep doing what you got to do. And it's the same thing if somebody's, gonna have a heart attack and you try to drag them to the hospital. Nope, I want to keep eating my ribs on my couch. Leave me alone. And you do your best. But it's the right thing for me to try as hard as I can. But some people, not everybody's gonna go, and it's unfortunate, but it's the real reality of the situation.
This is facts. I mean, one thing that I read again. Obviously, I'm a bookworm, but I mean, I read a lot. I love to read.
Yes.
So I read this post from a counselor who said it's important to not get attached to the outcomes, right? And so with you just saying that, there are people in our network on our list that we know can benefit from whatever we're offering them, right? And it is painful. It's painful, especially when you care. It'd be different if we didn't care.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
when you do care about people and you want to see people live out their full potential that you can see in them, because
Yeah.
oftentimes we can't see, obviously we don't see what other people see in us.
Right.
Um, it's very painful. It's really painful. And so after reading that, I realized, yeah, I just cannot get attached to the outcome. The only thing I can do is try my best to convey to the person in the way that I believe that they will receive it, that this is great for them. This is a win for them. It's not even about me. But if they don't receive it, I cannot get emotionally attached to the outcome of this particular interaction.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it's a great perspective.
yeah, that changed my life. I mean, I can think of so many areas of my life where that applies so perfectly. Like, don't get attached to the outcomes. So, but look, I did see that I was trying to read the comments.
There's
Let
a
me
lot.
see.
When I start talking, I can't
Okay.
read and talk at the same
I
time.
know, right?
Question.
Let me see.
How does one learn
How
to
does one
not
learn?
let the micro get to you? For example,
Oh,
sometimes one
that's a great
negative or
question.
mediocre response to a talk or video can really dig at me. Any strategies? Ooh, what you got? Nobody says anything negative to me. Obviously I'm lying because I just told a story about it.
Look, I know, right? You know what? Honestly, Mark, so when I'm offended by something, so you all probably notice, like, I'm really big on introspection. If you have not noticed, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. I'm really big on introspection, right? So when things are happening around me, and if it's not what I intended or what I anticipated or what I want, I don't look at them or that situation outside of me. I look within first, right? So what I would say to you, Mark, is if you're offended by something that someone says in the comments, I would encourage you to ask yourself, why does that offend you? Does it offend you because it's true and it's maybe something that you don't want people to know about you or see in you? Are you offended because you don't like people saying something that is in contrast of what you're saying? Are you offended? Like, I'm just running through some, you all, I don't know, Mark. Mark, I
Right.
hope look, I hope you're not taking offense. Um,
I can't believe she would say that.
I know, right? But no, these are serious, and I'm actually telling you all what I ask myself, right? Whenever
Yeah.
I'm offended by something, these are the questions I ask myself. For example, true story. I made a very controversial video on YouTube years ago. There were people in the comments literally didn't care about what I was talking about. Well, they did care. That's why they commented, because they were angry. So they didn't address the issue. Oh, that's deep, Nina. Remember, you can't unpack other people's. I love that. Um, so this is what happened, y'all. So I record the video, it goes viral, very controversial. So people in opposition of what I was saying, instead of them attacking the issue, okay, good, Mark. I'm glad you're not offended. Good. Instead of them attacking the issue, they attacked me. Y'all know how it is. If you mad about a situation and you realize, like, dang, that person got a point, but now, like, I'm embarrassed because you got a point. I realize I'm wrong. So now I'm just gonna go off on you. I'm not gonna address the issue. I'm gonna go in on you.
Right.
So
Ad
that's
hominem
what
attack.
happened. Yes, always. So that's what happened. And so people started calling me Miss Piggy. People started saying my hair was a wig. Now, at the time, I didn't have locks. My hair was actually straightened. Look, I didn't forget what it's called now. Flat iron. It was flat iron. So my hair was about the same length. As you can probably tell, my locks are pretty long. My natural hair was about the same length of my locks at this point. And so people were saying that, I was a Jezebel and I was an informant. I mean, they went in on me, right?
Informant.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
Interesting. I know a lot about the person who made that comment, even though I don't know who made the comment. The kind of person who would call you an informant. I know a lot about that person.
Exactly. And so I realized most of those didn't offend me because I knew that these are people who were just angry and they didn't know how to express themselves in an intellectual way, right? Because I actually love a difference in opinion. The reason why I love a difference in opinion is because that helps me see any potential gaps in my thought process, right? Yeah. So when I see somebody that has a difference in opinion, I instantly, now I'm challenging myself and I'm like, oh, snap. So why didn't I think of that perspective? And maybe should I revisit my own perspective? So most of the comments did not offend me, except the ones that were saying that I was like an informant. Those offended me. And I started wondering, I'm like, why are you offended by this? Of course I'm not an informant. And so, after some, unpeeling of the layers and really kind of digging deep within, I realized it's because of my family's involvement with the United States penal system, right? With the so-called justice system, and how my father has been serving 30 plus years of his life of a life sentence for a first-time non-violent drug offense. And so once I realized the source of that anger, then I was better able to not necessarily get offended by what they're saying, but at least now I know how to mitigate that, right? Moving forward, if somebody calls me an informant, instead of me growing offended, now I realize the source of my offense it had nothing to do with them per se. It was more or less the anger that I have bottled up against how the country screwed over my dad's side of the family and my father. So, I would encourage anyone, if you find yourself growing offended by comments on the internet, again, keep in mind, everybody has an opinion, right? And so what I would encourage you to do is, number one, figure out, like, why are you growing offended? That's the first thing. Number two, sometimes it's really not that deep. Like when people are calling me Miss Piggy, look, I know that I'm a plus size woman. I'm very well aware of that. And so that did not offend me because I'm very confident and comfortable in who I am. And so that did not bother me at all, right? So some comments you'll look at and it's like, some of them I was laughing, like some of the ones that were calling my hair a wig. I was like, that's wild. Like, this is literally my real hair. And so, you just got to figure out what is the source of that offense. And then once you attack that, honestly, it's like moving forward, you're untouchable, because there's nothing that somebody can say that you haven't already addressed within yourself. You're already aware of some of those insecurities. We all have them. You're already aware of those things, some of those triggers. We all have them. You may not be aware of all your triggers right now. You may develop new triggers over time. But my point is, if you can beat somebody to the punch, it makes the hit that less severe. Like it actually is fun and funny when you start seeing people trying to clown, like they think they clowning you, and you like, bro, I already knew that. Like you ain't saying nothing I don't know. So this is goofy, Oh, Conrad said got an 8 malum internally. Yes, exactly. And I was actually going to make that reference, Conrad. I was going to make that reference. But yeah, so that's my approach, Mark. That's my approach to silly comments or offensive comments. Honestly, at this point, because I've been doing public facing stuff for so long, it's very difficult for me to grow offended. I think the only thing at this point, like super quick story, I'm gonna wrap it up because I feel like I'm getting long.
No, this is so powerful.
So what happened recently, this was last year. Yeah, Q4 of last year, actually. It was very recent. One of my Facebook friends shared a video. It was an anti-vaccine video. Now, I took the vaccine, didn't want to take the vaccine, didn't take another. I did the controversial one, the Johnson & Johnson one, because I was like, I'm not getting this twice. I'm doing it one time. The only reason why I even did it is because I'm a globe trotter. I got to leave the country. So at the time, I couldn't leave the country. This was 2021, although the video I'm talking about is from last year. This controversy is from last year, but 2021, you could not leave the country without being vaccinated. So I got the little one dose and I went on my merry way. But anyway, so last year, Q4, friend tags me, and he sharing a video, anti-vax video, da 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 da. Okay, cool. Now I have no issue whatsoever with people being pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine. I don't care. Very personal decision. What I do have an issue with, though, is when you are sharing content that is not authentic.
Yeah.
And when I looked at this content, it was so obvious that it was a deep fake. And if you're not familiar with deep fakes, what it is, you all, is if you saw that video that Kendrick Lamar came out with where he was morphing into Will Smith and he morphed into OJ Simpson and he morphed into all these, that's a form of deep fake technology. It's when you can basically put a person's whole face onto another person, and basically it looks like the person is saying or doing whatever is being conveyed in that video. And it's a very, very dangerous technology. It actually almost caused civil unrest in Gabon, but that's a whole nother, deep fake technology is a whole nother conversation we'll have to have. So I commented and I said, hey, I respect everyone's opinions. I totally get it. But you guys, this is not a real video. This is a deep fake. It's not authentic. So I think we have to be careful in sharing information when it's not coming from an authentic source. Even if you agree with it, it's not authentic. Go find the authentic source and share that. Don't share the deep fake. And like, people went off. I mean, I got so many people tagging me under the comment, calling me a sheeple, saying, oh, if you want to be one of those sheeple, why don't you go stick with those people? Are you idiot? Or you're just scared. You're just like all the other idiots. And I mean, that offended me. And it offended the name calling. It wasn't so much the name calling. It was the fact that people are now like at a point where they don't care about authenticity anymore. It's just like, oh, this agrees with me, so I'm going to go with it. So I had to ask myself, I'm like, why are you getting offended by this? Like, it's nothing you can do about it. If people are comfortable being in their echo chambers and believing what they want to believe, there's nothing you can do about it. So I literally had to just release that. That was just something that I just had to release. And, that person ended up unfriending me and blocking me and all that. Again, I just had to release it. It just is what it is. Everybody's not here for integrity reporting and stuff. They don't care. They just want to hear what they believe, even if it's coming from a bot. So, we just got to look within when it comes to things that offend us. And Mark said this is super real and very relatable. Okay.
I didn't want to throw you off bounce, so I just,
I know. Thank you. Look, thank you for that.
Oh man.
Okay. So I do get stuck with people. And you know what, Mark? That's why I said I think that, that's a good opportunity for you to do some introspection and see where that's coming from, because perhaps, and I hope this has not happened, by the way, I'm just saying this as an example, but perhaps in your youth, someone called you dumb a lot. And so while you don't believe that at all, but when somebody does try to challenge your intelligence, that brings up, it's a trigger. It brings up something that maybe someone said that discounted your intelligence years ago, right? I remember I went to therapy I was in therapy rather in 2020, and I was so astounded by how much my childhood affected me as a super grown woman. I could not believe it. I was literally just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
The counselor had me do one exercise, and that was the only time I ever cried in counseling, because I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Like, I was like freaking.
Uh-oh. The video is buffering. I hope I'm not the one buffering. Y'all let me know if you can see me or if I'm the one who disappeared and Maria is the one who's still on. I'll talk. Hopefully she can make it back. Okay, let me see.
Okay, boom. Sorry, bad connection.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think y'all get the point.
Yes. And I mean, this is such a powerful, and when I said I don't know if we would be able to recreate the magic, I was clearly wrong, right? This conversation is like when you gotta, all the things that we want to do in life require a strong foundation of like inside of ourselves. You have to be emotionally secure enough to communicate out, with someone who doesn't know you. And some of those, you had to be willing to be courageous. You had to be willing to be vulnerable. And I'm not saying you had to talk about all your dark secrets in an email, but just anything that you say as a writer, especially for individuals who are artistic and, you feel like I put a piece of myself in this email or whatever. You put yourself out there for people to criticize. So it's vulnerability.
Very vulnerable.
It takes introspection. It takes self-development, and it takes a little bit of courage to do that. And so this conversation, even though it seems like it's a little bit of a tangent, I don't think it is. I think this is foundational work that we got to deal with, and nobody else has had this conversation. I haven't heard this conversation in an email marketing video or whatever. So thank you for going there. Do I have I have this weird, a different way of answering that question, and I think your answer is the right one. For me, the easiest way to not get caught in the micro is to just realize you're better than everyone. That's it. There's a little bit of truth. There's a little bit of truth in this. Because for me, most of my close friends, Conrad will probably tell you, I use words like clowns and jokers, right? Because in my mind, it helps to diminish other people. If they play that game, I don't go back to them and call them idiots. But in my own mind, I realize, they're operating at a level that's beneath. They're operating in the clown energy. And I'm not offended by clowns when they say silly stuff. I'm just not. And so what's there to be offended about? I actually don't. I don't believe I'm better than anybody. But this is maybe it's a self-defense mechanism.
Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much about you in this call, man. Oh boy, you are so funny. Oh man, Donnie said y'all clowns.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate them little giggles. Right. But listen, and also oh man, I gotta show you this. The LinkedIn user had commented and quoted Dan Kennedy, who said, if you don't piss somebody off by noon or whatever, you're not marketing hard enough. I think that's true. Another thing that Dan Kennedy said is one of the best advantages you can give yourself is to own the fact that you're superior to other people. And he's not saying like in your intrinsic humanity, but the fact that you started a business. What percentage of humans start their own businesses have the courage to do that? What percentage of people read a single book after high school? It's a small number. What percentage of people go to therapy proactively to work on themselves? If you combine those things, you just realize I'm doing work that almost nobody's doing. And so I'm in the top tier of individuals in that way. And so having a healthy disdain for other people, there's a place for it.
I think I'm so tickled by this because I can literally see you get an email from somebody where they're going off on you, in your mind you have already dismissed them as a clown. Like, I think that's why I'm laughing, because it's so funny. Oh my gosh, that is so. But honestly, I mean, I don't think that's a wrong approach, right? Because I know you were saying that that you think that my approach to this is the right approach. Oh, I totally agree, Nina. I totally agree. Nina said this should have been a Zoom so we can laugh hard together. Seriously.
That would have been great.
Oh man, this man is hilarious.
Look at this.
Wait, what happened? One time I sent an email that said something like, "Is Donnie wrong?" Donnie sent a follow-up email that said, "I'm never wrong." So Conrad can affirm that this is like you truly operate in this mode. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, honestly. I don't think that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's a different approach, which is totally fine. I mean, because like I said, it's not like you're saying that these people are like in a very literal sense, like they're beneath you, like you're gonna, like they're little peasants that you can just do whatever, enslave them if you wanted to, right? Yeah. But in that context, you have basically kind of siloed them and said, okay, I realize in this particular context, you are a clown.
You're operating in your clown energy right now. Clown energy. Listen, because here's the thing. If you step on a basketball court, LeBron James is going to treat you a certain kind of way. He's going to. That's his domain. And when you take LeBron out off of the court, he's going to treat you a different way. And then when you take LeBron to whatever. And when we're operating in the circus, nobody's mad at the circus. You shouldn't go to a D.L. Hughley concert and be mad when he calls you. He's the MC such and such. You know what I'm saying? You sat in the front row at a D.L. Hughley concert or show. He gonna eat you. You know it. You came there for it. Don't be mad when it happens. So okay, I just wanted to say this. When Conrad and I were we were like tag team. So we would like basically alternate emails. He sent an email. This is 2017 probably. He sent an email. I sent an email. So we kind of did it that way. And he had a good reason for saying was Donnie wrong. In my mind, I'm like, what is he talking about? Donnie ain't never wrong. I probably did say it in third person. I don't know. But this is great. The email was Donnie's never wrong. Signed Donnie. And then the PS was a sales pitch.
I love it, man.
That's how we do. But that was a good time.
Yeah, that was awesome. Conrad be a clown.
That's actually a great subject line. I want to use it. Could first name be a clown? That's getting used next week.
I think I might use this subject line tonight. Are you operating in clown energy?
It's real. It's real.
I think I'm gonna have to use that. Oh man, I'm so tickled by this clown energy, man. I'm about to start using it. I'm telling you. You're gonna see me putting some Facebook posts up like, hey, y'all in y'all clown energy, okay?
Yep. Hey.
Oh God.
I didn't realize it. This is also true. I didn't really realize that that's what I was doing instinctively, or I guess instinctively. My best friend started laughing at me, and I said, "What's funny?" Because I was complaining to him about something, and he said, "Clowns." And I said, "Huh?" He said, "You're always calling somebody a clown." And as I think about it, introspection, I come to realize this is something that I do. I didn't always do this, I don't think, but this is something that I do to protect myself. I can't feel offense,
right,
when I do that. And so I don't know if that's helpful, Mark, but it works for me.
Oh boy, this is so funny. Now that we're having this conversation about clowns, I just realized I use that word a lot too. Not like
you do.
Yeah, I use that word a lot. I call people clowns all the time. Like, oh, that's a clown. Oh my God. Maybe that's why I'm so tickled by this, man. But I love the clown the clown energy.
It's a
thing. Clown energy, like I gotta use it. I see Mark's comment. He said, "Are you operating in clown energy?" His gold. Seriously, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna have to use that one, Donnie. I love that one. Are you operating?
If that's your question, Maria's question is, why am I triggered by this? And Donnie's question is that a clown question?
Clown energy.
You ask those two questions, you're immune to feeling offense. You figure out why it came up, but you'll prevent it. Oh, clownenergy.com. Oh no. This is the best live stream.
Hey, y'all are so great, man. Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
I don't know who
Hey,
LinkedIn
you
user.
just
Tell
know
me,
I'm a
what's LinkedIn
domainer.
name because
Like
I
I
need to
own
know.
like so many
That was great.
domains. I might have to get that. Hey,
That was great.
cloudenergy.com.
Oh man, that's
I
really
need
good.
to know who wrote that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
this is hilarious, man.
help us out. Let us know
Oh
who.
boy,
Because don't
cloud
buy that
energy.
from me now. You know that's mine. You know that's mine.
I know, right?
Oh man.
Oh boy, Nina said
Anyway,
she down. And no,
yeah.
don't go nowhere, Nina. Don't go nowhere. We just getting started. Now we're going into the second half of the show.
That's hilarious. It's a great point. I do want to transition. This has been spectacular, phenomenal.
Yeah, it
I give no
seriously has.
praises
Yeah, this has been
anything.
awesome.
I had a really interesting conversation with a friend, close friend, this week about he wrote a 21-day email series.
Okay.
And really the re-engagement series for him, but he's thinking about using it in the future, kind of automating it and using it as a like a part of his funnel, top of the funnel. I want to ask you a question because the way he structured it was interesting. And it's Dave Chappelle. Okay, cool. That's hilarious. Older, wider than, and nowhere near as funny as the famous comedian Dave Chappelle. We've been connected on LinkedIn for a couple of years, and I don't know if we've ever really talked. So I appreciate you coming through, Dave, and bringing this.
Yeah, no, and thank you for the link to the domain name. I mean, this is awesome. Are you a domainer? I'm a domainer, so it's kind of dope to know somebody else is tuning in as a domainer.
We start that conversation. It's gonna get real deep.
Oh yeah. Domain flipping.
But look, how as you're creating your 6-figure series campaigns, do you have a particular structure that you follow? Let's say across, what kind of length do you like? I know it varies depending on what you're doing, but talk us through some of you thinking about how a copywriter or an entrepreneur can create a campaign. I know we're going to get a little bit more detail on that, but what's your overview of how to think through that, and what kind of do you like to do when you're doing in a regular, like a generic kind of case?
So generically speaking, what I typically like to do is, first of all, it depends on where my leads are coming from. It's super important. Sorry, look, I'm still, my nose is running from laughing so hard. So it really depends on where my leads are coming from. How did they get there? Because I have certain sequences that are set up to complement whatever they came for, right? So if you came to download a lead magnet, I got some things that you need to, a couple of processes that you need to go through before we get on deeper into the funnel. Right. So generally speaking, because I know you're kind of looking for a real number here.
That'd be a real number.
Or range.
Yeah, just how you think about it. How do you approach the topic?
I typically approach it. Yeah, I start with how they come in. So I think about it just obviously in full in terms of the customer journey, right? So I would say roughly about 21 to 30 emails into the funnel. Okay. But again, and the reason why, y'all are hearing me pause is just because I'm really thinking about.
She's a mathematician. She really is a mathematician.
I'm literally mapping, like trying to remember the map that we built for our stuff. But yeah. Yeah. Because we kind of bring people. So of course, when you think about a funnel, right? This is my little human funnel. I don't know if y'all can see it, but at the top of that funnel, it's wider because we have multiple doors to entry, for lack of better words, right? And then, but we have some other campaigns to kind of further segment and, just kind of figure the contact out a bit more. But once they get into the fold of the funnel, like where we're actually selling something, at that point, they would have already heard from us at least 20 to 30 times via email. So, wow. Yeah, I had to think through that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that seems like a pretty, accurate number. Now, obviously, if you're selling a high ticket offer, something that's like 4 figures and above, I mean, That's a little different, because ideally your call to action is probably going to be a little different. But again, all of this varies from industry to industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely has to be a different setup. Are there different movements? This is maybe like a classical composer's term.
Mm-hmm.
Movements throughout your journey from 21 to 30 days. Do you focus on particular, like, here's what I want to accomplish in the first 7 days, here's what I want to accomplish in the second phase of that? Do you think, is there different things that you focus on as you move, like you're moving towards the ultimate goal?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you go through phases of like not that this is what you would do, but like, okay, attention, interest, desire, action, like that's just kind of a process that people do, not for funnelizing, but selling.
Right.
Do you have something? Funnelizing is not a word, it's probably a domain.
Right. I know, right?
But do you have anything like that? And I'm putting you on the spot. Maybe one doesn't.
No. No, I love these questions. So, I actually tend to be an advocate of doing a little bit of both. So yes, there is a defined journey and process in which we're bringing the contacts through, but I do want to condition them pretty early on to know that at some point I'm expecting you to spend some money with me, right?
Yeah.
And if you've already spent money with me, I'm conditioning you to realize that I'm gonna ask you to spend more money with me. And this is not. I don't want this to sound like it's literally I'm just looking at my list as money, because it's actually not what I'm trying to convey. Because if there is not an offer that I can provide that I believe would benefit the people on my list, I'm not gonna offer it.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like, this is not just me looking at people on, in my CRM as like dollar signs.
Sure.
Obviously, I am a business owner, so I have to make decisions that will benefit the business. But I'm of the belief that when you empower people, people will in turn reciprocate that energy and your company will flourish because you are helping people. So I just wanted to add that because I know that this sounds very, it can sound a little detached when you're talking about, oh, well, I'm trying to condition you to spend money with me. Like, I don't want to make it sound like this is just some sort of money grab. But again, if you're a business owner, obviously you have to prioritize sales. And so again, for us, we tend to kind of put in, like, maybe in the PS, we'll say, hey, have you considered this? Check this out. Right. And I'm sorry, I didn't give any context. The PS of like the emails that's delivering like the lead magnet, and complementing information to support a lead magnet, for example, we may slide in there like, hey, have you ever like checked this out? Did you ever think about working with us on this? And so we'll slide it in. But yeah, I don't believe that there needs to be one or the other. I kind of squeeze in the sales virtually in almost every email. I'm gonna try to squeeze it in some way.
I love that. I feel the same way. We didn't coordinate this.
No, not
people
at
ask
all.
that a lot. And you've probably seen these. I remember from AWeber, there was like here's what your first 21 emails should look like. This is a couple years ago. It's from AWeber, who is a marketing automation company.
Yeah.
To some extent. And for internet marketers, I think that was their target audience. And it said like your first pitch should be on day 7. And I said, this is insanity.
I mean, because if they want to spend money with you on day 1, why wait until day 7?
This is what they're here for. So everybody's not going to buy on day 1, but I love that you said we'll make a soft pitch in the delivery email, the confirmation email that says here's your freebie. By the way, if you're ready to do what we came here to do, this is a taste, but we want to go the whole thing. Then go ahead and get some more details over here. Soft pitch.
Exactly.
I love it. So it's never too soon to start making the offer.
No. Yeah, because I mean, like you said, if somebody's on your list, they're there for a reason. Obviously they see some value in what you're offering and what you've said or done. So I don't see any reason there. In my opinion, there's really no logical or rational reason to try to prolong their journey into making a purchase with you. If they're ready on day 1 and they feel confident based off of what they've seen already, I mean, why am I going to just string you along if you're already ready to go? So
makes perfect sense.
I like to kind of infuse sales in virtually everything that we put out. And sometimes it's not transactional, right? Sometimes the selling point, if you will, is, hey, join the private Facebook group, or, so everything is not tied to a dollar amount. But yeah, typically speaking, I'm not really one of those of the mindset that you have to prolong this, like string them along, and then on day, 10, oh, come buy my stuff. Like, nah, I'm not with that.
I appreciate you saying that. I've heard way too many. I think it's been indoctrinated somehow.
Yeah.
That more people think. Here's the analogy, and it's a stupid one. So I'm going to make somebody mad right here. I'm going to make somebody mad. I'm going to make somebody mad right here. I'm going to make some clowns mad right here, but I didn't do it. But listen, somebody told you don't ask someone to marry you on the first date, do you? Again with the voices. I don't know what's my problem.
Yeah, look, I know. I'm notorious for that, by the way.
And it sounds like I'm demeaning people, which I guess maybe I'm just a disdainful person. I don't know. But it's not really a great analogy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not, you're not asking somebody to become life partners with you and share their entire bank account with you and consider living together. It's an analogy that you can like kind of, you can make use of the analogy, but it's not a direct analogy. The truth of the matter is, it's more like, I need help. I'm ready for help. Are you going to offer me help or not?
Yeah.
And so if they're ready to buy, you should let them buy. You're not forcing them to buy. This is not that, but it's not, you have to date them. And really nobody, if you try to sell it too fast, you're disrespecting them or pushing up on them. First of all, people hook up on the first date all the time now. Let's be real. And then, right. And sometimes you never get to a second date. And if that's the case with you, you should not be in this industry. In whatever industry you're in, if you can't get someone to come on a second date with you, whatever that means to you, you need to reevaluate your own first date skills or intentions or both.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do ultimately is help people. And sometimes the best way to help them is to help them. They need to buy the thing to get the help that they need. Because they're not going to read the freebie. They're not going to do that. They don't do that.
Nope.
That's disrespect right there. I shouldn't have said that. A lot of people read the freebie, but ultimately we give them the freebie to get them engaged, but it's not the full solution. And so we should offer the free solution, not the free solution, but the full solution if they're ready. And then they're going to come to you when they're ready. So really what you're doing is just opening the door that they can walk through at their leisure, rather than being rude and saying, I'm not going to open the door to you.
Right.
See, if you're a gentleman, you're going to open the door. And this is now chauvinism, whatever, but your lady friend can walk through when guess what? If you hold the door for a sister and she says, nope, I'm not coming. All right, that's cool. I'm not going to drag you in the door. I'm not forcing you. I'm opening the door. And if I'm here with you, we're going to stand at the door until you're ready to go in. Right?
Yeah.
And that's not a great analogy either. I just made it up out of the top of my head. But we're just opening the door and giving people an opportunity. And I think that's respect. To give people I'm ready to get help now. I'm ready to buy. And if that means buying something, and it usually does, that's what it takes for me to get the help that I need. That's what we're going to do.
Exactly. I mean, I think honestly for me, it's like when people say strike while the iron is hot, right? I'm not going to sit there and let the contact eventually get bored or distracted with some other offer because I'm trying to string them along, on this little random journey, and all they wanted was like a quick solution to their issue. Like, to me, it's just a waste of time. So I'm really, I'm an advocate of, hey, slide that at any point where it makes sense and you're not coming off as the cheesy salesman. Just slide in that offer, and if they're ready, boom, they'll take advantage. If not, hey, whenever they're ready, like Conrad said, give us the opportunity to buy when we want to buy. The best time to sell anything is when someone wants to buy. And, honestly, if someone has gone through the process of downloading your freebie and, the odds of them spending a little money with you are pretty high. They've already kind of shown you through their actions that they obviously are intrigued. So, I don't see any reason why we should prolong that sales process. So,
you capitalize.
I'm sure there's another copywriter who would disagree with that, but yeah.
Hey, you're right. There's the emotional hotness is high. That's the highest point that they have in general, not necessarily across the board 100%.
Right.
But when they first say, I'm ready to do something with you, I'm ready to sign up for your email list and find out about, your system, your strategy, get your book, whatever. They're at that they're at a high point emotionally, and they've transferred some trust to you at least in order to say, all right, I'm gonna let you in my inbox and I'm gonna take the time to investigate what you have to say. And it would be disrespectful for you to let them make the first move and you'd be like, nah, is you rejecting them now. And the analogy is very stretched very thin at this point. But I think there's
no. I mean, but I agree with you though.
Here's something that's interesting. Most of y'all probably know I got married when I was very young, 19.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. 19.
I was 19 years old, and
wow,
the reason
that's good. Wow.
Here's the clown energy that I brought. I proposed pretty quickly. I wasn't necessarily the most romantically experienced or intelligent individual. I had to get my wife off. I had to take her out of the game before she found out she can do better. It was interesting. I'm glad I did, because a whole lot of people came through with offers, but y'all were too late. I got her now. She's mine. We've been together for 21 years. And only because I moved fast. If I waited, I'm telling the truth. If I waited much longer,
right,
it wouldn't work. And so
you'll be out here swiping left.
Maybe. I don't know what I would be. I'd be lost in the wind. So.
Oh boy!
But it's 100% true. You gotta move when it makes sense, and when you're ready. She was obviously ready. She said yes. Right. So that's
dope. Wow.
It's like I said, I've been married for 21 years, and that's weird. I'm 40, which I shouldn't have said that, but I'm 40, which means I've been married for more than half of my life.
Wow.
I'm glad I didn't take any longer. Right. That would have been.
I love that analogy, and that's a true story. Wow, that's beautiful. Out here swiping left. Yeah. Mark Donnie was gonna be out here bad swiping left. I would never. I'm not on the app, so I don't even know. Is swiping left like rejecting, or is it accepting? I couldn't.
How would I know? If I knew the answer to that question,
I don't know.
I think that'd be a problem.
So you got to swipe. That's all I know.
People say, I don't know. I have no idea. Swiping, just swiping.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, long story short, make the offer.
No, that's dope though. Wow, that's dope. I love that. It's so perfect in terms of what we're talking about with the importance of email marketing. Like you don't want to sit there and wait for your contact or your lead at this point to get those other offers. Like you want to go ahead and lock them in, lock them down, Donnie Bryant style, lock them in quick.
Who does it like your boy? Who does it like your boy?
Look at Conrad's mouth swiping. Conrad was swiping left with big clown energy. Oh my gosh!
Right, and I'm probably still a big clown, but but you're right. The offers are coming, and if somebody makes the offer first, and the person who really needs help says, "I want somebody to help me," oh, this person going to help me, because that's one thing that's true. When they're really in need of help, they're not just looking for one person. Probably,
yeah.
They did a Google search, or they picked up some kind of went someplace and they found something, and they said, "Okay, here's some people, some options to help me." Google has a bunch of people, unless you search for the right thing, and you own that page. But they go on social media, and
Conrad is hilarious, man.
No, he's using the right language. He's got it.
I know, seriously. Oh my gosh, Conrad is the funniest. Y'all need help. Nah, listen, for real.
I had no job. I had no degree. I had no wardrobe. I had no game.
Wow.
I had no beard. I don't know what I brought to the table, but I got her before anybody else did.
That's beautiful, man. No, seriously, that's a really dope story, and it's so relevant. It's so relevant to what we do. Let me find out. I'm about to be quoting your stories in webinars, and next time I'm doing my little email marketing trainings at Chambers of Commerce. That's a really dope story, though. Seriously, It's so true. Why would you want to? Yeah, you don't want to risk your lead going out and getting offers from someone else. And, I hate to quote this guy because, this guy says he's not racist, but then he says sketchy and racist things. And I'm sure
it's funny because when you started doing this, I said she's going to go there.
Yeah.
I know who you're going to talk about. I
hate to quote him, but I'm a quote old Grant Cardone, as he likes to say. One thing that he said that I agree with wholeheartedly is he said attention attracts money.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I have to agree with that. It does. You've got to show up. You've got to show up. You've got to get their attention. Nobody's going to know about your business just by chance. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, some people will somehow kind of run across, but again, even then you still have to show up though, some kind of way, whether it's social media, whether it's, I do a lot of in-person workshops and training. So however you choose to show up, you got to show up is the point. And why not do it with email marketing, which has the best ROI in the digital marketing space. For every $1 you spend on email marketing, you can anticipate to earn $36 in return. So why not use this medium that has a great track record? Unlike social media, which changes, every single day, email has had very small, and I would almost say insignificant changes in the past several decades. So I can't think of a better way to show up than appearing in people's inboxes with some valuable content and some transformative offers. So yeah, I love it, man. That's a deep, that is a dope story. It's so true.
So listen, how many people are going to hear that story on YouTube? I bet it's a couple dozen. How many? But I can send an email and get it in many more hands. I don't have to worry about it being discoverable. I don't have to worry that I didn't put the right keywords. Now, that little story that I told right there is an hour and 40 minutes into a 2-hour video. Who's going to watch a 2-hour video?
Exactly.
But I can take a link and take it to a specific timestamp and put it in an email and say, hey, I bet y'all didn't know that how many dudes are trying to holler at my wife. Y'all want to hear the story about how I prevented them from doing that? Right. Here's my story. And I can point people and I can put it directly in people's faces. I can contextualize it for them. Know what's getting delivered. I can know how many people read it with some degree of accuracy. And I can know how many people clicked to see the story. Now, whether they're watching, I don't know. All those things you can't really get anyway, other than email at the scale that you can get it with email, at the cost efficiency that you can get with email. So email that's why email is the king here.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. It really is. So Jackie, what's happening, Jackie?
Jackie, I made a reference to you earlier in this thing. So if you're just popping up, you have to go back and listen to the whole 2 hours.
Right.
I didn't say your name, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you hear it.
Mark said, I'm taking this back to my job somehow. Dopeness.
What you need to do is tell Gmail to stop putting my stuff in the promotions tab.
Man, oh my gosh, seriously. Okay, Nina said, right. This is why I love working as you're a publicist. Oh, that's dope. You must make it known. Y'all are putting me on with some new perspective. Dope. Nice.
Didn't know been here the whole time. So I appreciate y'all sitting here hanging out with us.
I know, yeah, for real, man. This is dope.
So after the dopeness, we got some more dopeness for you.
We do.
We got some next level dopeness. I'm gonna kick it over to you. I don't know how to cue it up other than to say you're ready.
I know, right?
We can talk about email, but we would talk about all kinds of
stuff. I know. We didn't talk about so much. So here's the deal, y'all. If you have gotten some value from this conversation, especially as it relates to email marketing, this whole notion of making sure that you're showing up, then this is an invitation right now. This is your invitation. You and me and a bunch of other cool people just like you, who are ambitious, who are ready to put some booster cables on what they're doing in their business or for their clients, this is a special invitation for you to join us this month. Right now, we have registration open for Crash Course to Cash. Crash Course to Cash. And basically, what you get is 8 weeks of training with me to build a 6-figure email marketing campaign. As Donnie and I, some of you all who may or may not know, but I know Donnie shared this early on. I've worked with at least a couple of dozen, more than a couple of dozen actually, companies in building out their 6-figure email marketing campaigns. Some of them have gone on to make 7+ figures and above. So nevertheless, for 8 weeks, I'm teaching you the exact strategy that I use to build out those campaigns for my clients, for myself. And y'all need to go ahead and lock in. And thankfully, I have an incredible partner, someone who has actually agreed to partner with me on this. And so, Donnie, if you don't mind sharing with the good people how you partner with us on this, that would be awesome. And look, I'm going to get my charger while you're talking. So give me a second here.
Yeah. Okay. So long story short, some of y'all know, some of you may not know. I guess it's 2 years ago. Whatever, doesn't matter. I launched Inbox X Factor, which was at the time was a membership. It was a membership where I provided daily email ideas, subject lines, killer subject lines, and templates where you could take the subject lines and just use them for yourself for your own emails, and video training modules where I showed you how to implement particular skills and particular techniques into emails to make more money, to get more emails written, and to make a deeper connection. And I did it for, I guess, just over a year. And then I took it off of the market. And it's been off the market for about a year now. And so with Crash Course to Cash, if I get it out.
Alliteration. Yes, I love my alliteration.
But with Crash Course to Cash, right now, I'm bundling it. Well, I don't know if you can call it bundling it, but you're going to get it as a free bonus when you sign up for this incredible training, which, as Maria mentioned, is live training with a proven copywriter. She's going to walk through how you set up, and actually you're going to do it together. We're going to do it together.
Yep.
Creating your own email campaign with the potential to hit 6 figures or more, depending on how you use it. And once it's built, I mean, obviously you can reuse it, and you can model it and make more. You can use it in your copywriting business if you're a copywriter. You can use it to market your own business if you're an entrepreneur. All of that, and you're going to get it for an unbelievable price. I can't even make the words come across my lips. This price is unbelievable. So Maria, you gotta tell the people.
So yeah, fam, it's $297 flat rate, $297 one-time fee, and this is only the beginning. We're kicking it off talking about email marketing, but as I've shared early on in this conversation, obviously I own a copywriting firm, and so we don't only write emails, although that's what we're most known for. There are so many ways for you to monetize words. So this is just the start. And the reason why I decided to start with email first is because one of the cool things about email is that it has a very low risk, but high reward. It's a low risk, high reward medium, meaning that it doesn't require a whole bunch of capital up front. When you think about how you're having to pay for ads, for example, which I'm not opposed to at all, but it does, it takes some capital up front. I mean, for you to really start to see results and for you to be able to, accurately segment your target audience, you might spend about a cool, $300 to $500 or more. And that's really on the low end. So with email though, it does not cost that much. It just doesn't. Number one, some software, depending on the number of contacts that you have, you can use it for free. So you're not paying anything other than time, right? The time of putting the emails in place and all of that. And so, it's just email it's that easy entry. It's that low hanging fruit. And that's why we're starting with that first. But again, there's so many ways for you to monetize money. monetize words. I'm sorry, monetize money. Do that too.
There's ways of doing that too.
Right, exactly. Get in, monetize your money. So, people sell blogs. I own several blogs that I'm literally currently building up with the intent of selling them. Right. And so these things I'm selling at a, 40 times multiple. I mean, this is like, the numbers are really crazy. And you guys you can look this information up yourself. So nevertheless, we're kicking it off with email marketing first. Because again, it's easier. It's that low hanging fruit. It's that one medium where you can definitely get your ROI pretty quickly. But then we're expanding to other things. And as we expand, this is the point I was trying to get to, got super long-winded there. As we expand, although you're paying $297 today, you get access to the other content as well, that are tapping into those other mediums and ways that we monetize words. So this is definitely a limited time offer, as you all could probably imagine, because $297 is not a lot of money.
No.
But it is a limited time offer. Expires March 31st. We're shutting the doors down. This is not one of those faux deadlines where it's like, okay, hurry up and get in there. And then, on April 1st, it's like, oh, we got 5 more seats available. Like, no, once we shut down the doors, in fact, I have no control over I shouldn't say that. That's not true. What I was going to say is I don't have any control over the landing page. Of course, I have control over my own landing page. But what I'm trying to say is I've actually set up a timer. So that way I'm not even tempted to try to extend the deadline or any of that. It is what it is. You sign up before the deadline or you don't. And if you don't, it's your bad, because I guarantee you this price point is not going to be the same when we open the doors again and we move on to the next thing. So kind of, ridiculous price. I'm not even sure I understand how Maria is doing it all for this. Yeah, I have my reasons, Conrad, but you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a crazy price. I know it is. But there is a method to the madness.
Of course.
So you guys, Donnie put the link up, Crash Course to Cash. It's spelled exactly the way it's supposed to spell. There is no number 2 or anything like that. crashcourse2cash.com/Donnie. So that you can go ahead and get his special treat. And like he mentioned, he's not selling the inbox factor. I did say that right, Donnie? Inbox factor. Wait, what is it? Inbox X factor. I'm sorry. I knew I was missing the X.
No, you got it.
He's not selling this anywhere.
It's just being smart, because when you say inbox X factor, 2 X's next to each other sound like a word that we don't mean to say. And can get us shut down. Yeah. I didn't realize that until I was talking to my wife about the money. She said, "What is this money?" I said, "It's from Inbox X Factor." She said, "What in the hell?"
Right. Like, hold on,
you're doing what in the inbox?
Activities. You got an OnlyFans? Like, what's going on here?
Nah, babies. Nah. Don't leave me, please. Anyway.
Woo, boy. But so you all can get Donnie's amazing program, which is not sold. Like he mentioned, it's not sold. So this really is the only way.
I'm not selling it anywhere else. I don't know when I'm going to put it back on the market. This is going to be the only way that you can get it for the foreseeable future.
Exactly.
And by foreseeable, I mean you still can't get it if you try and get in after March 31st. But it's also not going to be where on April 1st, I think. I mean, I don't have it together where I'm going to put it back on the market anytime soon. So this will be your way of getting, again, you're going to get 365 days worth of ideas for your emails.
Yep.
So you'll never run out of things to say. You're going to get, I think there's 10 video modules. I meant to check and I didn't. 10 video modules kind of showing you my particular way of doing certain things, like opening an email in a way that gets people locked in to want to read the whole email. So these are just my things. They're going to be a supplement to what you're learning with Maria and what you're doing with Maria as a combination. I mean, I think it's truly life-changing what you'll discover and what you'll implement in the 8 weeks that you have, and then going forward from there as well.
Exactly. And I wanted to touch on really quickly when you were saying basically, it's your method, right? This is why I love this partnership, because I remember when you and me were chatting about it initially, and you were like, well, are you sure? You know, I don't know. I mean, it's like we're doing the same thing. And I was like, oh no, I'm absolutely sure. Because the thing is, there are so many different writing styles, different approaches to this industry, right? And so I'm excited. I mean, I'm literally thrilled that there are people who are going to experience and observe both styles, because there is no wrong. At the end of the day, as copywriters, we're very clear on what our goal is. Our goal is to convert those words into wealth. Basically, that's why I named the book "Words Are Wealth," right? So we're very clear about the job that we've been tasked with. So how we get to that, it's going to differ, and that's okay. So I was thrilled when you explained to me what you wanted to gift people as a result of joining the program. I was thrilled because I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Now they get to see, like, for example, I think I think we talked about this, but like, interestingly enough, a lot of the clients I've had have been men, men that are much younger than me, like, young men in their 20s, men that are much older than me. And so I would go from writing in one man's voice to another man's voice. And like, people had no idea the whole time there's a whole woman behind this like whole email that's written in the voice of a man. And then same thing with you. You have written for a bunch of Black women or, women in general, right? And so little do people know there's like a whole man behind that message that they read that they thought came from Cindy, as an example. So,
I'm gonna tell you something I shouldn't tell you.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
Would recognize it if you saw this email. Did y'all watch the Best Man, the new one that came out on Peacock or whatever?
I did watch it. Do I remember it? I don't think I do because it was kind of weird.
There's only one thing. It was a weird show, right? But
yeah, it was weird.
I might have written half an email about Morris Chestnut's backside. Nobody needs to know that but y'all. But
oh, inbox X Factor, shawty.
That's what we do. Oh, like, I mean, here's the thing. Writing to an audience of Black women, this is a topic that I want to read this email.
Yeah.
Not that everybody loves Morris Chestnut, but a good chunk of that audience, they want to know more about it. So it was a very popular conversation at the time. Not the butt cheeks necessarily, but the show Best Man. Everybody's watching Best Man. Did you see it? What did you think about it? What's going on with Harper? And then we say, and if you saw Lance, that one scene, and then we get going in. So anyway,
I love it. Yeah, I mean,
why bring that up? I don't know.
No, but it's to illustrate the point that, like, we assume a whole nother role that is like completely not even aligned with who we are as people. And I mean, honestly, I tell folks all the time that copywriters, we're really actors and actresses on paper.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that's what we are, because how is it even possible that we're able to assume the mindset, the voice, all of that of our clients, and we literally are not even the same sex, let alone, having the same mindset or even the same values and things like that. But yet here we are able to communicate and convey their thoughts on their behalf in a way that is so convincing that we get their audience to buy into whatever it is that they're offering. So our skill is very unique, man. Like we're just in a really cool space, and I think people's minds will be blown if they knew how many copywriters are writing for clients whose lifestyle or value or whatever is like totally not even aligned.
Yeah, it's true. Look at this. Where I got this book. Y'all remember this? Carlene Anglade Cole book.
Yep.
My life as a 50-year-old white male, but she's far from that.
Exactly.
It's what we do. But you're going to get a peek into that. I guess that's kind of what we're going towards. You've been writing, or you have written for a lot of men and some prominent ones who are very different personality-wise, but you assume the characteristics and the voice in order to communicate in a way that's authentic and true to them. And I've done the same thing oftentimes for women. Also many times for Caucasian people and organizations that are led by Caucasian leaders. It's what we do. But you're going to get a taste of all of that inside of Crash Course to Cash. And also, again, we're going to be spending time together.
Exactly.
So when you have questions, when you need, and it's not just training. Like there's going to be, there's video trainings, there's templates and all these things. So you're going to have an unrestricted access to what it takes to do this skill. I shouldn't say unrestricted. There's probably some kind of restriction, but it's going to be like really unbounded in terms of what we're not going to hold anything back. I gotta go answer my door, so please forgive me for
No, you're good. You're good. I'm about to look in these comments.
Let me put you on the screen.
Okay. Comrade says copywriting and sales is a quote unquote or quote a well thought out theatrical performance and takes training just like other theatrical performers. Facts. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Yeah. I always tell people I'm an actress on paper. So that's what we do. Comfort, I think you were responding to what we said earlier about not having the faux deadline. You said, yes, a lot of people have a habit of letting in more signups even after the deadline. Yeah, I don't play those games. Honestly, I think I don't like to insult consumers' intelligence. I think we've all gotten used to that, this fake deadline where it's like, oh, sign up now, it's never open again. And then, a day later, it's like, oh, we just opened up 5 more seats. Like, I don't have time for all that. I'm not about to play with y'all. Look, this is the deadline, March 31st, 11:59 p.m. Central Time. You miss it, you miss it. And that's honestly, if you think about it, that's life. How many times do we, get that little extra? It's kind of rare. That's life. If you miss the deadline, you miss the deadline. And so I'm just gonna keep it real. Like once the clock strikes, midnight, it's over with. So
yeah. I mean, it's I'll admit to having written. We had technical difficulties, and you may not have had a chance to get to the order form, and so we're giving you 72 more hours. But we planned it in advance. The email is written. There's no technical difficulties. We said, oh, there's only 14 seats left, but you wrote the email before the event even happened. And so I'll admit to having written copy like that. I now avoid clients who require that kind of tomfoolery and clown energy. But it happens, and this is the reality that we're in. Or, as you say, you got a promotion this week, and maybe technically this one ends, but we have another promotion 3 days later.
Yeah,
the same offer, is essentially the same offer. The only thing that's swapped out is the new deadline. So Nina asked, when's the deadline? We're talking about March 31st. So you have 2 weeks from today.
Yes, 2 weeks. Wow, that's crazy. I cannot believe.
You've been so busy this month. You haven't had a chance to count the days.
Oh my gosh, I definitely haven't. Oh boy, this month has been insane, man. It's been nuts. We've gotten, we've been bumping. Shout out to my team, Jeanette out there in Chi-Town with Donnie and my other team member Paulette out there in Austin. Well, she's in Salt Lake City, Utah right now skiing. But shout out to the team. We have been pumping. This month has been crazy in a great way. So, one thing I forgot to mention, Donnie, in terms of, did we answer Nina's question? Yes, Nina, it's March 31st, 11:59 Central. Would absolutely love to have you there, especially as a publicist.
Right, and you can buy it today, so it's not, you don't have to wait until.
You don't have to wait. You certainly don't have to wait.
That's the last you can buy.
Exactly. Yeah, and look, just like that, I've actually I've forgotten what was I gonna say?
What you're probably gonna say is, I don't think you mentioned it. The full price is $297, but if you need a payment plan. There's a payment plan.
There is a payment plan. $75, just $75 to get started, get you locked in, and then the remaining balance will be due in 30 days. So $75. That's what it was. Also, the 14-day money back guarantee. So if you pay in full, you pay the $297, you get in there, you look at the portal, you decide, I don't know, I'm not really aligned with Maria's energy. Which we talked about that last week, how you know, I'm kind of at a point with this, with my business, with my career, especially as a copywriter, where energetically, if I don't feel synergy between me and the prospect or the lead, then yeah, I mean, I'm okay with walking away from a situation. Energetically, it has to feel connected or aligned. And so if you visit the landing page and you realize it's not given whatever you know wanted it to give, it's not given, or you sign up, you get in there, you look at the content, you download the templates, et cetera, et cetera, and again you're like it's not given, hey, you get 14 days to get your money back. So yeah, we're really making this as easy as possible. And so if you get in, you get in. If not, hopefully we'll see you in the future down the line. But of course, as you can imagine, the price is going to be significantly higher than it is this go round. So Nina, I look forward to seeing you. Super pumped up about. In fact, there's another publicist who is joining as well. So I think it'd be dope for you two to collaborate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Jackie said, gotta go play my carpool dad role. Oh, that's awesome. This was good. I'll have to check out the replay. Thanks, y'all. Thank you, Jackie. Dope.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I know he's among the busiest guys. I call him the hardest working man in show business, or I just call him showbiz. Right?
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with us. This is real though. This opportunity is, and that price is absolutely ridiculous. Even at $297. I mean, literally for live training. Lifetime access to content, including updates. I mean, people are charging 5 or 10 times more than you are. I've seen programs like this that are $5,000,
definitely
$2,000, $3,000, $5,000.
I agree wholeheartedly. And you know, I think that gosh, I just had it again. There was something else I was going to bring up. Oh, now I got it. Look, before I forget again. So we spend thousands of dollars per year on honing our skills, right? I'm really big. Like, I know I'm revered as an expert in the space. And for me, I take issue with people calling themselves experts and they don't actively involve in honing their skills or learning new approaches to their skill, right? So as a real expert, I do invest. And when I say I, really the business does invest a considerable amount of money per year on conferences, networks, training, applications, anything that we can use to enhance the quality of service that we deliver. We invest in that. So for example, like I shared, you know, this is a hybrid model in which the courses are, there are some foundational courses that are in the portal, but then also on the back end, we have the hybrid, the live courses. Sorry, I didn't go to bed until super late, so the brain is fried now. And so with that being said, during one of those sessions, my team member and I will actually be in Vegas at an email marketing conference, right? So here it is. We have spent, you know, thousands of dollars for the conference, for the hotel stay, for the food and all of that, right? But you all are getting the information that I'm talking about, like hot off the press, right? You all are getting that information at a fraction of the cost. So here we are, we're going to be in Vegas talking to y'all and coming, you know, again, straight out of this conference where we would have spent the whole week at the conference, and you all will be getting this information for just a fraction of the cost. So yeah, I mean, I take this talent very seriously. Like I said, we, you know, very intentional about investing thousands and thousands of dollars per year and honing the skills and getting access to the various networks and things like that. So again, the deadline is a deadline. There won't be an extension. And there will definitely not be another offer at this price point. I promise you that I know wholeheartedly. I'm gonna say that with my chest. This is it. It's definitely going up from here. So I look forward to seeing y'all.
I feel as I mentioned, this could be a life changer, or will be a life changer for anyone who gets in and engages in the content. This, I mean, at $297, it's hypothetically possible that you would buy it and say, yeah, you know, I'm not going to take it that seriously because I only paid $300 for it, and not a big deal. But if you treat it like you paid $3,000 for it,
Exactly.
be serious about it. Get in there, consume the material, apply the material, show up on the live trainings, and ask questions when they're relevant.
Right.
It can take you to a whole nother level in your career or with your business, and things will never be the same for you.
Yeah. No, facts. I mean, email is definitely, copy, of course, has changed my life. But more specifically, email has definitely changed my life in more ways than one. And I'm saying that it has changed my life, but like, understand that I've had the privilege of witnessing people, clients, right?
Yes.
I've had the privilege of witnessing them grow. So we literally, our careers and our businesses were growing together.
Yes.
There was one client in particular, shout out to brother Andre Hatchett, those of you, if you're familiar with business school. So Dre and I, we worked together for like, gosh, he was actually one of my first clients. And so we worked together for about 6 years. The business has been in existence since 2015.
Okay.
So nevertheless, when Dre and I first started working together, he was making, upper 5 figures, decent 5 figures. But once we started working together, obviously I'm not going to disclose exactly what he's making now, but I will tell you that definitely multiple 6 figures, right? And so that has been beautiful to watch his growth. And then also like knowing that I played a role in it. And I remember when Clubhouse was hot, nobody gets, I haven't been on Clubhouse in ages. But I remember somebody brought him up on the stage, and I entered that particular room, and he was like, yo, y'all got to bring her up on the stage. Like, she literally helped my business, generate 6 figures. Yes. And so it's like that kind of thing, right? Like, to know that I have changed. The work that I did changed this man's life.
Yes.
And people around him, his family, his friends, he's able to do more. He's traveling abroad. He's, that is a really beautiful feeling. So, it's a life-changing thing, being able to live out of the country for 2 to 3 months at a time, because this career is location agnostic. We're not glued to any particular city or state. Again, life-changing. And so another thing about this skill that's so beautiful is that it transcends boundaries too.
Yes.
Wow, Nina.
I did not know this.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. That's powerful. Every time this is the second time we've done this, we've gotten like some real beautiful like stories.
That's why you said we got to do this again, and you're right.
Yeah, we do, seriously. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be a case study. I was homeless just 3 years ago, and now I'm running a workshop in my neighborhood to help small business owners learn how to pitch their stories. Wow. So I can vouch for the power of applied knowledge and a before and after. So let's go. Yes, Nina. Wow. I definitely look forward to working with you. Man, I definitely look forward to that. That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, but anyway, y'all, again, 297, life-changing skill, connect with like-minded people, get the expertise, the knowledge, the experience, get obviously the campaign, which is why you're there. Yeah. So you get all of that, get the templates, get Donnie's program as well. I mean, listen, I don't know what else to say at this point. I don't know what else to say.
I'll ask you a question and then we'll get up.
Okay.
If someone, I'll set it up for you, because you can take this what you're going to learn, you can package it up.
Facts.
I'm an email copywriter. I do campaigns.
Yep.
You can now sell this to clients for, give me a number. I mean, I'll give you, I'm not going to, you can give me a number, but I'll tell you something. I've written, I shouldn't tell you all this because then somebody's going to be bothering me, but I have a client recently. This might have been last year. Anyway, did a campaign for her. Seriously, this is true. 8 emails, no, eight or 10 emails for $8,500.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, half of it was templated, ripping off myself stuff that I've written before. I said I can just update this. So a week's worth of work, not full time work.
Right. I was about to say not even a week, man. That's like
I worked on it,
hours.
maybe an hour a day for a week for $8,500. She was happy. She launched her course, made a gang of money. She loves me now.
Love it.
So I mean, it's what, $1,000 an hour of the work. Exactly. Don't quote any numbers. You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Yep.
That's yep. Potential. There's probably people who will take that same 8 emails and charge $20,000. It'll be
definitely
worth it too for the right clients. It's easily worth it, and there are clients who will pay that. There's people who will say, I don't have the, I don't feel like I have the experience to just go and charge that price. But if you charge, let's say you charge $2,000 for a week's worth of work. Do you make $2,000 on your job right now for 2 weeks? Maybe you did.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's a pretty good job, but you don't work 7 hours and get $2,000 on the average.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, and then that's it's scalable. If you work at a job, they're going to give you 3%, 5% at best. And in this environment, probably less. You're going to go 2 years without getting any raise if they don't fire you like they're firing 10,000 people at another 10,000 people at Facebook, right? Not to say that you're going to be the last one to get fired because you're an amazing person, but it's rough out here. However, businesses know they need to get clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you get clients? Email.
Yeah.
Email is a great way to do it. You're going to be able to transfer this skill to other things. But you can sell email. People understand email. They know they don't want to write them. They know they don't know how to write them. You're gonna have a specific way to apply this, and you can confidently say, "I know this works because this worked for Marie, it's worked for Donnie." Yeah, and you out there and sell it, and I mean, it's an income, it's a profit center for you pretty quickly. And the game changing, the life changing aspect of it is just that the confidence that you can go and make other people money. Is how you monetize money. You're gonna monetize your own money.
Right, exactly. Not for real.
Because you know I can make you money. I've done it too, where I had a client, they were doing what's the number of 700,000, which is a good number when I started working with them. And within 2 years, 5 million.
Ooh.
So he's hustle hiring. I gotta hire more people. And so I'm saying I did that. Not only me. Yeah. But I had a huge hand in people getting jobs that wouldn't have had jobs otherwise. And this organization,
that's beautiful, man.
It feels good. It's just like your story. It feels good to be able to change lives and to actually helping the economy out. And you're getting paid. I got paid a lot of money to do that. But he didn't pay me anywhere near $5 million. I'm talking about $5 million a year. That's the run rate. And set him up to, scale from there. And so that's what's possible.
Wow.
You can do it too.
That's beautiful, man.
Energetically, it's got to fit. We're at that place in our lives, right? Energetically, it's got to fit for us. It's got to fit for you. So there's no pressure here, but I'm just telling you what's possible from my own experience. And I know you can do it faster than me. That's all I'm saying. You can do it faster than me. And this is a great way to accelerate.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, this is putting booster cables on whatever you're doing. Booster cables, seriously. I don't want to say too much. I feel like I'm going to give it away, but yeah, let me. Yeah, I'm a pause. There is a special surprise. That's why I don't want to say anything, but yeah. We're going to set you up nice. We're going to set you up real nice.
Boom. Well, I appreciate that. I think my program is pretty great. And here's the truth also. I am adding some additional stuff. That'll be how you get it. Being on the inside of Crash Course to Cash. Make sure all my letters are in there.
Yes. I don't know why I'm able to say it so fast.
You said it more times than me. But you're gonna be in the right place. And I'm excited for what's possible for you.
I'm pumped up. Nina, definitely looking forward to having you, and we're gonna have a good time.
Unbelievable. So I think that's it.
Yes, look for this week.
Right, we're gonna do this next week.
We're gonna do it next week. We're coming right back. We'll see what other touching and otherwise life-changing things that we can talk about next week. Again,
there's nothing like this on the internet. There's nothing like this on the internet right now.
I know, seriously. No, that's facts though. Like what we are doing and how we're doing it. Yeah, man.
Part of it is because we didn't plan it, right? We have no idea what's going to happen.
Exactly. It's unfiltered, which is
creating facts. Exactly. There's space for the spectacular.
Yeah. Y'all just witnessed me crying on crying laughing on camera at Donnie. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this stuff is not it's not scripted. We didn't talk before this beyond, hey, here's the link. Okay.
Yeah, here's the link.
I'm jumping on now.
And then you got on here before I did.
Right. Yeah, like, yeah. So no, this is great. This is awesome. We're definitely coming back next week. We're gonna do it again. And I look forward to seeing those of you who feel some alignment.
Yes.
Definitely look forward to seeing you on the other side. It'll be fun. We're gonna have a good time. 8 weeks.
That's it. All right. So, all right, Nina. Yeah, Nina. Well, we got to talk anyway. It seemed like we should talk. So anyway, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Some of y'all been with us.
Yes, this was awesome.
So thank you for that. Thank you for bringing your own story. Right.
That's
bringing your non-clown energy to this conversation.
Yeah, man, this was awesome. Seriously. Thank you so much for the comments, the question, the great question that Mark raised earlier.
Yeah.
The jokes. I mean, this was awesome. The domain name. I'm still thinking about buying clown energy, Donnie. Maybe I gift it to you for your birthday, man.
Well, hey, I'll take it.
That is hilarious. Clownenergy.com. Wow. Dave was fast with that.
Yeah, it feels like a no-brainer at this point.
I know, right? Seriously. That's dope. But yeah, okay. So
we're gonna get up out of here.
Yep, we're back at it. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. Y'all be safe.
People don't raise the roof anymore, do they?
Next week. What'd you say, Ronnie?
People don't raise the roof anymore, do they? I'm stuck in the 90s.
Hey, the 90s were the bomb. Okay,
that was the decade, right?
Yeah. That was it. That was the time to be alive. The 90s.
Yeah, I agree. So we're out here. Hey, if it's aligned, pick this up, and if you need it, don't feel bad about the $75. Not that anybody feels bad, but please don't. Nobody's thinking about that. $75 just to get a little taste, just a little taste. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Dive in there. 75. Let's go.
Yep, that's easy. So we'll see y'all. We'll probably see y'all before then, but if not, next Friday we'll be back maybe a little earlier in the day. I think it's a little easier for me if it's a little early, but whatever. We'll see y'all next week.
No, I think next Friday earlier is fine on my end too. That works.
Perfect. All right. Maria, thank you for spending time with us here. 2 hours of your time is like, I don't know. Just have to send me an invoice or something.
Oh, stop it. Nah, I really appreciate you though, for real. Thank you for, having me on your platform once again. This conversation was nothing short of amazing. Nina says, see you guys next week. My 15-year-old said, that's so old. Please stop. Oh boy.
You don't even know.
Kids to humble you.
You don't even know.
Kids know how to humble you, man.
That's right.
They are like the humble champs. Humblechamps.com. Look, Dave got
my They keep coming. That's great. That sounds like a Conrad style domain.
I know, right? Humblechamps.com.
All right.
But no, seriously, thank you, Donnie. This was awesome, and definitely looking forward to next week. So let's keep it rocking.
You got it. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.
All right, y'all have a good weekend. Peace out.
Later.